Hey guys, so as you guys know, not too long ago I went on a trip to Japan and I visited the northern island of Hokkaido, which was so much fun. It was my first time there and I really enjoyed exploring and eating and visiting and seeing all the great stuff that Hokkaido had to offer. I've visited Japan numerous times and I've been to different places. Obviously Tokyo, I visited Osaka, Nara, Kyoto, and this is my first time really going somewhere different, I feel like. So far it's my favorite. And if you've ever visited Japan and only visit Tokyo and thought, I've been to Japan, I've seen all of Japan, I've been to Tokyo. No, Japan has so much more to offer. If you get the chance, you should definitely visit other places. I know when I talk to other people and I ask them, where's your favorite place in Japan? Rarely anybody says Tokyo. Tokyo is a great place to start, but I really recommend traveling to other places. So I wanted to explain to you guys how I did Hokkaido, because I know when you're doing research to go travel anywhere, and especially Japan, it can be overwhelming with like where to stay, how to get around. You want to eat everything that they have to offer, so like what to eat and how to make that work. So I wanted to explain how I did my trip, and maybe it'll help somebody who wants to go travel to Japan, Hokkaido, and stuff like that. So to start, I want to talk about how I got to Hokkaido. Just assuming you're already in Japan, you can get to Hokkaido by train or by plane. I took the plane route. I used Peach Airlines, which is a local or a regional airline in Tokyo. So the prices are fairly cheap, but they do charge you for everything, like most cheap airlines. So my round trip flight cost about 12,040 yen. So from Narita Airport to the new Chitose Airport is where it arrives, and it takes about 50 to 60 minutes by train to get from the airport to Sapporo, which is where we stayed. On the plane, they sell train tickets to get from the airport to Sapporo. It costs around 1,000 yen, which is about $10 US, which isn't bad. If you decide not to buy it on the plane, which you don't have to, you can buy tickets at the station, which is in the basement floor of the airport. Or if you're coming from Tokyo or Osaka and you happen to have your IC card, either a Pasmo or a Suica card, one of these, you can use these too if you have money on them. As far as I know, you can only use these in Sapporo, not so much the other cities quite yet. Alright, so you're there, you're in Hokkaido, you're in Sapporo. How do you get around to other cities? This is where, when I was doing research online, I was just really confused of how things work. So let me try to break this down for you guys. So what Juven Nuna and I did for this trip was we purchased the JR 3-day rail pass. And this is what it looks like right here. Here you have the Hokkaido rail pass. This is the dates of when you're going to use them. And then inside, it's just all the information and then the stamps of when you use them. So let me try to explain this the best way possible. You want to buy a pass if you already know kind of what you're going to do, because if you buy tickets individually, it's going to cost a lot more. So buying the pass saves quite a bit of money actually. For the trip we did, it would have cost us 28,560 yen about. I got this information online. I don't happen to just know this. This 3-day pass only cost us about 16,500-ish. So as I said before, it's probably best to have a plan knowing where you're going to go and what dates and how long you want to be there. On their website, they offer a 3-day pass, a 5-day pass, a 7-day pass, and then a 4-day flexible pass. I'm not sure how that one works. And if you have your trip planned out, knowing where you want to go and when you want to go, you can show them your pass maybe the day before and make reservations for the next day to make sure you have a seat. Otherwise, if you're cool with just standing up or hoping to find a seat, you can just hop onto any JR train. Using the pass, you can ride on any JR line in Hokkaido. JR is one of the main train systems in Japan, so if you get on a different line, you're gonna have to pay, but that's usually not a problem because anywhere you need to go, it's accessible through the JR line. With our 3-day pass, this is how we used it. We could have done it a different way to get the most out of it. We arrived in Sapporo, stayed one night, and then the next day we opened our pass, meaning we used it that day. So that's day 1. Day 1, we took a train to Hakodate, stayed the night, and then day 2, we used our pass to go back to Sapporo. And then from Sapporo, on the 3rd day, we went to Biei, and that was just a day trip, and then we came back. So that was our 3-day usage of the JR Hokkaido Pass. If you look online at their website, they actually have like a suggestion for how to use the pass if you buy a 3-day one or a 5-day one or whatever. As far as purchasing the pass, you can buy the pass before you get to Japan. You can buy the pass at a travel agency. I tried to find somewhere online here in Korea to buy it, but I couldn't find anywhere. So if you're gonna try to buy it beforehand, your best bet is probably a travel agency, and they might actually offer it at a cheaper price. So if you know what you're planning on doing, maybe purchase it in advance, because it might be cheaper. In my case, I didn't have enough time to purchase it in advance, so I just bought it there. And I know that some of the JR passes, like around Tokyo, you can't buy them there, you have to buy them in advance. But for the JR Hokkaido pass, you can buy that in Japan. If you happen to purchase them beforehand, your travel agency or whoever you bought it from will give you a voucher. I don't have a voucher, I don't know why I did that. They'll give you a voucher and then you just take it to any JR ticket counter and then they will switch it out for this pass is what I was trying to do. Otherwise, you can just purchase it there. I bought mine at the airport at the JR ticket counter. You can buy it at Sapporo Station. On the website, they actually have a list of places where you can purchase the ticket. And it was fairly easy. I just told them that I wanted the 3-day pass, what dates I wanted to use them. I just showed them my passport, signed some paperwork, and they explained to me how to use it. And that was it. It was really easy. So we're there, we have our passes, we're ready to go. Where do we go? So we used Sapporo kind of as our base. We stayed at a hostel called Hokkaido, which is really close to Sapporo Station. About a 10-minute walk from the station. It was really convenient for when we needed to catch the trains. The hostel itself was very nice, very clean. The staff was super friendly. The rooms itself were dorm-like rooms, and I know they have like a female-only room and then the mixed room. The bed was really comfortable. They had like duvet blankets, which are all so soft and so warm, especially when it's cold. And having clean bathrooms and clean showers is always a huge plus. So if you're looking for a place to stay in Sapporo, I recommend that hostel. To be honest, we didn't do a lot of exploring around Sapporo. I know there's probably a lot to do and a lot to see, but we just really use it as our home base. I think the only thing we really did in Sapporo was eat. And on my first night, I had soup curry. My host family told me that that is something that is special in Hokkaido and they don't really have it easily available in other places in Japan. So of course I had to try the soup curry. If you have a chance, I recommend going to, what was it called? The samurai one that tells you nothing, but I'll put a clip in here so you can see. And then there was another one that Jubin Nuna found and we tried to go to twice, but the first time we went, it was closed. And then the second time we went, there was a line and then we didn't really want to wait. So we went to the samurai one, but then there was a line there too. And so we decided just to wait there instead of going back. I want to try the suage place because online it had really good reviews. So I'll try to leave links down below for both of those places. But if you go to Hokkaido, you must try soup curry. Another thing you must try in Japan is ramen. In Sapporo, we went to this area, I guess it's Ramen neighborhood, Ramen Kingdom. It's on the 10th floor of one of the department stores. And when you get there, it's kind of like in its own corner. It's like dark alleyways with like all these shops. Like it would be if it was outside in the real world, because it's not the real world. But you know what I mean, like it's set up that way. So it kind of looks like a movie set kind of thing. And so there's all these shops around and you walk around. People are trying to get you to eat their ramen, explaining to you like, oh, our ramen is so good, it's the best, come eat here. When really you need to go to the places where there's a line, because you know people will wait for the good stuff. You can go there and see what you like, see what looks appetizing, and try some badass ramen. I know I had some really good ramen. Really rich and filling, and probably had like 5,000 calories in one bowl. Totally worth it. Yeah. As far as dessert goes in Sapporo, Actually a good place to go for desserts is the department store. The basement floor of Daemaru has like a bunch of things you can try. I would totally recommend they give out samples, just try some samples of things. Just look and drool because that's what you're going to do. However, I did go to the Snow Brand Parlor ice cream place. Snow Brand Parlor is a very famous, popular parfait shop. I say it like that because I'm just getting this information online. You can do the same. It was highly recommended. It was quite pricey. If you guys watched my video, the parfait cost about $14 US. Siri, I am recording right now. You are so rude. The ice cream parfait costs about $14 US, which is really expensive, yeah? Yeah, right? Because you can get a decent meal, like not a decent, like you can get a good meal for $14. But it was made from Hokkaido ingredients, so they were trying to sell that. It was delicious, it was milky, it was fresh, it was really good. Recommend splitting it with a friend if you're nice enough to share, or if you're trying to save money. As far as getting around in Sapporo, we walked everywhere. You can easily take the train, the subway, it's really easy, but we pretty much walked everywhere to get some exercise and to save money. But everything was pretty accessible by foot, anything you wanted to see. Everything really is in Sapporo Station if you really need something, but if you want to go out and see stuff, we went out to see Odori Park and the clock tower, and we also went to Tanu. It's an area of shopping. It's called Tanukikoji? Tanukikoji arcade shopping area, and we went there and just kind of took advantage of the tax-free shop. That's all walking distance. If you go in the winter and it's just like too cold to be outside, you can actually, from Sapporo Station, walk to a lot of these places underground because they are all accessible. You just walk all the way and walk out the exit that you need to get to there, so you're not walking outside the entire time. So it's really nice. So from Sapporo, we were able to travel to Hakodate, Otaru, and Biei, which is all easily accessible from Sapporo, which is why we used it as our base. So for our first stop outside of Sapporo was Hakodate. I just like saying that, Hakodate. Hakodate was about a 3-hour train ride from Sapporo. We left early in the morning and then we got there, I want to say early in the afternoon, so it wasn't such a bad trip. It was all just like one straight shot, and just the scenery that you could see being in the train and all the snow, it was extremely beautiful, like nothing I'd ever experienced or even imagined in my life. Hakodate is a smaller city than Sapporo, and I told you guys that Sapporo itself was pretty accessible by walking. Hakodate was the same way. It was really easy just to walk around Hakodate city to get to anywhere you needed to go. From the station, we walked to our hostel. We stayed at a place called Guest House Hakodate Biei. If you watched my video, you could see the room and kind of what I thought about it. The place was very minimalistic. The room had a bed and some towels and a blanket, like very, very basic. There was no hangers, no table, no decorations of any kind. But the price of the place was fairly cheap, $50 a night, so about $25 US for the both of us. But one thing I wanted to point out was that when the entire time we were there, we saw a staff member one time and one other guest. It didn't feel lively. When we were staying there, when we were there, we didn't hear other people, which was kind of creepy. It was really close to the station and it was cheap, and it just had your basic needs. So don't ask for too much. One of the reviews said, don't ask for anything. Nearby the station is the morning market. It's where they sell fresh fish. We got there in the afternoon. The market itself was closed, but the restaurants were still open till about 3 or 4 o'clock. We got there and grabbed lunch. We had a small bowl of, I guess you could say, shirashi, where it's the sushi rice on the bottom, and then on top is an assortment of fresh raw fish. That was really tasty. It tasted very nice, very fresh. Another place I recommend that you should go in Hakodate is hamburger Lucky Piero. It's got this really scary clown as their mascot. I don't like clowns. As you're walking around Hakodate, you see this burger joint, and it's got the weirdest way of decorating. We saw one that was all these Santa Claus plastic figurines kind of thing. It was really odd, but kind of intriguing at the same time. But that's not about the food. That's just the store itself, which is kind of cool. It's got its weird, quirky kind of theme. But the food itself, what did we have? We had a Chinese chicken burger that tasted like Chinese chicken that you get at the buffet in the States. You know what I mean? Yeah, it tasted like that. It was good. It was good. And then we had a fried shrimp burger that was also nice. Another thing to try that is a specialty in Hakodate is called snaffles. Snaffles. They have these like small round cheesecake kind of thing that you eat with a paper thing, like a chip, like a paper chip, not a chip that you eat, like a circle, it's paper, and you use that to eat it with. Those were so good. And we had a strawberry shortcake that's like the main dessert in Japan, and Snuffles did it so good. It is amazing. So if you are going to Hakodate and you find a Snaffles, you better eat it because it's good. A few things that we did in Hakodate that didn't involve food, because everything we do does involve food. We went to Hakodate Biei, and it's the bay in Hakodate, and there's brick red buildings that used to be warehouses, and they changed them into places where you can shop and buy things. When we were there was like a lot of snow, but it was so beautiful. You can see the mountain like from afar, like the water and the mountain and like the gray sky. It was really beautiful, very picturesque. That night, because we only stayed one night, we went to see the Hakodate view. So you can see the entire city lit up, and you can actually like see the bay like that. It was the most incredible view. We actually walked from Hakodate Bay area to where the carriage, is that what it's called, that takes you up to the mountain. So it wasn't so bad. That's definitely walkable. So the next day before we left, we went to the public bathhouse where the onsen was. We walked from our hostel to get there, and it wasn't so bad. We definitely could have taken the streetcar. It would have been much faster, but since it was daylight and it wasn't too cold yet, we decided to walk kind of far, about a 30-minute walk. But the bathhouse itself was something that was necessary after doing all the exploring that we had been doing. And if you've never been to a public bathhouse before, you just gotta do it. You go in, you get naked in front of other people. It's obviously split between men and women, but you're just naked, but it's okay because everybody else is naked. So you're not like alone. It'd be weird if you went in with like swimming trunks. I've seen foreigners do that before, and it's weird. Don't do that. But you go in, and then when you come out, you're feeling like relaxed and fresh. It's just a really nice experience. I recommend doing that. So from then, after the bathhouse, we just took the train back to Sapporo. So the next day after we got back from Hakodate, we took the train to Asahikawa, and then from Asahikawa, we took the local train to Biei. I think overall it took about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it was easy to make the trip to Biei into just a day trip. So in order to explore Biei, you need to have your own car or use a taxi tour service. As far as I know, I don't think there's like another way to get around. I could be wrong. Jubin Nuna kept saying that we need to book the taxi tour, otherwise walking is really just not an option for Biei. Biei is a really small town and it's not easily accessible just by walking. Actually, this is how the taxi tour works. So you can rent the taxi and they charge you a flat rate by the hour. So if you go by yourself, you pay that one fee. But if you go with more people, you can split that fee. So she went online the day before or a few days before and asked in a Korean traveling forum to see if anybody was traveling and if they were interested in doing the taxi tour and if they wanted to share the taxi tour. So she actually found a couple, and the four of us took the taxi tour of Biei, and we split the price, and it turned out to be about 30 bucks each, and we did the 2-hour tour on the taxi, in the taxi. I recently looked online, and they do have other taxi services. Our taxi guide did not speak any English, did not speak any Korean, so there wasn't really much he could say. Every time we got to a destination, he just said, tree. Christmas tree. Something special. Biei, like I said, is a very small town, and so I guess outside of the town is where we were exploring. It's like just vast lands. It's just open. I think most people go during the spring and summer, fall, any time except for when we went, because you can actually see color, you can see leaves and flowers, and there's like a lavender farm there, and so that's why people go. We went in the winter, so there was nothing. It was just white. Not white, but white. Because of just all the snow. But I still thought it was really, really gorgeous because it was just like untouched snow. And you know how beautiful untouched snow is? It's just so nice to look at. You could see all the snow. It was really, really beautiful. Because Biei is quite a small town, there's really not a lot of things to do. In fact, when we were there, we were wondering if anybody even lived here. We barely saw people except for when we were on the taxi tour. In the town, we didn't see anybody as we were just like kind of walking around. We did, however, go to a well-known restaurant called Junpe. It's where they have the ebidon. It's the tempura shrimp. I don't know if that's why I'm doing this. The tempura shrimp over a bit of rice, and it has the tempura sauce. That was very delicious. That was very good. That was on, I think the couple we went with had said they were gonna go there, and Jubin Nuna said she had seen it online of other people talking about it. So we decided to go there, and it was probably one of the very few places that was open in town, and one of the very few places that actually had people, and I'm pretty sure most of the people eating there did not live in Biei. Alright, and for the last stop of our trip, we went to Otaru, which was on the 4th day, so that means we are done with our Hokkaido Rail Pass. We're done with this. So we can't use this anymore. After it's done, all you can do is buy individual tickets or use your IC cards. To get from Sapporo to Otaru only costs about 600 yen. We didn't spend a lot of money to get to Otaru. To get there, if you take the local train, it takes about an hour and a half. If you happen to catch the express train, it only takes about 30 minutes, so it's definitely a one-day trip kind of place. Otaru has a kind of retro city vibe. It really gives off a feeling of a movie set with the infrastructures and how things are laid out. It's a pretty cool place to visit. We went to one of the small shops outside the station and had the milk cheese twist ice cream, which is amazing. It was really good. I don't know how to explain flavors very well, but it was milky and creamy. It was sweet, but not just sweet. Like, it had more dimensions to it because of the cheese part. It was really good. When we got towards the shopping area, there was a few Lutao cafes, and we stopped by one of them, and we had the double fromage cheesecake. Really small, a bit pricey, a little bougie kind of cafe, but super delicious. Next time I go, I'm gonna buy a whole cake and just eat it for myself because I can do that. I'm an adult. Another thing that Otaru is famous for is their oden, the fish cake. And in my video, I took you guys to a place called Kamae. Inside, you can buy souvenirs of the fish cake, or you can just chill at the cafe there, a little cafe they have inside the factory where you can try all the oden and have free green tea. You can go there and have a nice snack and try the different kinds of fish cake. I don't know how many variations of fish cake you can have, but they had quite a few. We tried 4 and they were all very good. One of the last things we did while we were in Otaru was, I don't think I filmed in there. I think my camera died. But we went to the music box shop. It's this huge shop and there's just like thousands of these small little music boxes. You wind them up and you listen. You know what I'm talking about with like the ballerina. That's what ballerinas do. Kind of like that. Some of them were like local mascots of Otaru or something significant of Otaru, and they had a bunch of other different kinds, and they all had different kinds of music. Definitely a tourist place, but really cool to see. I think it's a great place to get a gift for someone who likes that, obviously. Yeah, but you know what I mean? Because it's like a specialty there in Otaru. So it was like, oh, I got this music box in Otaru, I got it for you because I like you. That's why you buy stuff for people, right? Because you like them or you want them to like you. This is not what this video is about. So that was pretty much it for my Hokkaido trip. I am so glad that I got to go. I don't think I would have ever gone. I do want to give out some tips for traveling. What Jubin Nuna and I did was we pulled our money together and just had money set aside for food. And when we ate somewhere, we shared everything. It was easy to do because she and I are not very picky eaters. We want to try anything and everything, so that made it really easy. One thing that we did was we would go somewhere and order one meal and share that. And then we went somewhere else because we wanted to try so many things, and it'd be impossible if we had like ordered a meal for ourselves each. So we shared everything and we were able to eat more often. And I think it helped us save money too. To be honest, I wasn't really calculating because I was on vacation and I just thought, I'm here and I'm going to eat. That is the plan. But regardless, I mean, it was the best way for us to try a bunch of different stuff without overspending a lot of money. So I hope this video was helpful for somebody. I hope you guys found it interesting. I know it wasn't like super entertaining unless you just really enjoy my quirky personality, you know what I mean? Anyways, if you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button. If you haven't, go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Snapchat and Instagram. Recently, I started posting on my Tumblr. Do people still Tumblr anymore? I'm not sure, but I've been posting on there, so I will leave that down below as well. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!